Chapter number 6 is on employee testing and selection. When we are talking about employee testing and selection, so number one question is why careful selection is important. And then the importance of selecting the right employee. This is also another important question. As far as the employee's point of view is concerned, organizational performance always depends in part on subordinates having the right skills and attributes. So this is the number one question. And the second part is recruiting and hiring implies is costly. So the legal implications of incompetent hiring, this is also another concern when we're talking about employee testing and selection. Equal employment opportunity laws uh, and court decisions related to non-discriminatory selection procedures, the liability of negligent hiring of workers with questionable backgrounds. So these are some of the basic questions when we're talking about this chapter. So the another part is why careful selection is important. The thing is when we're talking about the careful selection, so we have to carefully scrutinize information supplied by the applicant on his or her employment application, get the applicant's written authorization for reference checks and carefully check references, save all records and information you obtain. Then we have talking about the reject applications who make false statements of materials. We can balance the applicant's privacy rights, immediate disciplinary actions if there is some required, and these are some of the elements which is very important when we're talking about uh, careful selection is concerned. So the other important thing which is related with the importance of selecting the right employees is the number one thing is organizational performance, cost of recruiting and hiring, legal obligations and liability. These are the important points when we're talking about a careful selection is concerned. Then, as earlier told you regarding this important point, negligent hiring claims. So I already explained you in a previous slide. This is a very important point that we have to be very careful on scrutinize information on employment applications. We have to give the written authorization for the reference checks, and these are all things which I already explained you. Then the basic testing concepts. We have to check the reliability, we have to check the validity of the selection criteria that these are the described consistency scores obtained by the same person when retested with the identical or alternate forms of the same test. Are test results stable over time? Validity indicates whether a test is measuring what it is supposed to do be measuring. Does the test actually measure what it is intended to measure? This is the points of concern. Types of validity, the number one is the criterion validity and the other is the content validity. What do you mean by the criterion validity? A type of validity based on showing that scores on the test predictors are related to job performance criteria. Are test scores in this class related to students' knowledge of human resource management? This is the criterion value. And the content validity is a test that is content valid is one that contain a fair sample of the task and skills actually needed for the job in question. Do the test questions in this course relate to human resource management topics? Is taking an HR course the same as doing HR? Examples of websites offering related with the testing program. So you can go to www.hr-guide.com/data/g371.htm. So you can visit this and you will find out some of the data related with the content validity or the questions which is on based on these things. Then how to validate a test is the Analyze the job predictors and the criteria, choose the test battery or single test, administer the test concurrent or predictive validation, relate your test scores and criteria scores versus actual performance, cross validate and revalidate, repeat steps 3 and 4 with a different sample. So these are some of the guides which I already explained you. Uh, Use test as supplements, validate the test, monitor your testing, selection programs, keep accurate records, use a certified psychologist. This is also very important aspects when we're talking about when we are hiring a new persons or when we are talking about a selection procedures, manage test conditions, revalidate periodically. Then we have to go on the test takers, individuals' rights, and test security use under the APA standards for educational and psychological tests. Test takers have the following rights: the right to the confidentiality of the test results, the right to informed consent regarding use of these results, the right to expect that only people qualified to interpret the scores will have access to them or that sufficient information will accompany the scores to ensure their appropriate interpretation. The right to expert the test is fair to all. For example, no one taking it should have prior access to the questions or answers. These are very important questions that it needs to address. Legal privacy issues, defamation, labeling and slandering of employees or former employees by an employer, avoiding employees defamation suits, train employer supervisor regarding the importance of employee confidentiality, adopt a need to know policy, disclose procedures impacting confidentiality of information to employees. How do employers use tests at work? Major types of tests: basic skills test, job skills test, psychological test. Why using test? Increased work demands more testing, screen out bad or dishonest employees, reduce turnover by personality profiling. So these are some of the questions which is related with the when we're talking about the employer's use and elements. So moving further, the next step is the computerized and online testing. Online test is based on telephone, uh, pre-screening, offline computer test, virtual inbox test, sorry, online problem solving test, types of tests, specialized work sample test, numerical ability test, reading comprehension test, clerical comparing, and checking test. So these are some of the approaches that most of the time we are using it. Types of tests, when you're talking about cognitive abilities, we have to check the cognitive abilities of the applicant. We have to test the motor and physical abilities, personality and interest, current achievement. So these are some of the techniques through which we can judge an applicant for a particular job. These are the big five personality traits: extroversion, consciousness, agreeableness, openness to experience, emotional stability, and neuroticism. Approaches are related with the different personality. This is another thing, work samples and simulations, and the other steps is are also related with it. I will share you the another part of this video. So you will go through with this part of the video. I will share you the next part of the video as well. So I will share with you the next part. Thank you very much.